So, today we are going to discuss one of the darkest chapters in the world history, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. How did a failed artist and World War I soldier become one of the most feared dictators? And how did Germany transform into a totalitarian state under Hitler? And what were the devastating consequences of Nazi rule? Let's find out. So, the chapter starts with the story of a boy, Helmut, who is an 11-year-old German boy living in Nazi Germany. His father was a Nazi supporter. When Hitler became chancellor in 1933, he was quite thrilled. And this story tells that one evening, Helmut's mother cautioned his father not to say certain things aloud, fearing Nazi spies. This shows how Nazi Germany controlled even private conversations, making people fearful of expressing their opinions. What is the key lesson here? And in this part, also, it is told that his father, Helmut's father, committed suicide because he was scared that the haters, or you can say the government, the people of Germany, will now take revenge of whatever was done by Nazi party because he was a Nazi supporter. In that fear, his son Helmut was not eating home because he thought that his mother will poison him to death. So this was how everyone was so scared. So, key lesson is Nazi dictatorship silenced people. Second, propaganda influenced families, making some admire Hitler. Surveillances were everywhere and even inside homes. So, Nazi ideology was quite dangerous. Let's see how. So, what happened after the First World War? Let's see. So, World War One, which was uh, going on this time between this time period 1914 to 1918, was fought between allied powers in which Britain, France and Russia and USA were there, and the central power where Germany, Austria, Hungary, Ottoman Empire was there. And on the other side, we see that Germany was defeated at the end of 1918, and this led to huge casualties, like 10 million soldiers and civilians died and wounded. Then economic crisis happened, industries collapsed, employment was lost by many, psychological trauma was given to many people because of the death of people and that bloodshed during the war. There were some people known as November criminals. Who were they? Actually, they were the supporters of Weimar Republic. Let's know how. So, German politicians who signed the Treaty of Versailles were called November criminal. People hated the Weimar Republic, believing that they had surrendered unfairly. So, when the Treaty of Versailles was signed, it was in November 1918, at the end of the war, and that was when the government changed and there was a new government formed, which was Weimar Republic, about which we'll get to know. The Weimar government was weak, unable to control revolts from both left wing communist people and from the right wing nationalist people. So there were two groups and both were criticizing Weimar Republic. They both were attacking on Weimar Republic by saying that they are not doing fair with the people of Germany by accepting the this Treaty of Versailles conditions, and that's why they were known as November criminals. Treaty of Versailles, how it was humiliating for Germany. Let's see. So it was signed in 1919. The treaty, So the Treaty of Versailles was signed in June 1919, not in 18, sorry. So it was signed in 1919, and the treaty imposed harsh penalties on Germany. So what happened? What they lost? They lost territory. They lost their major territories like Alsace, Lorraine, Polish regions and overseas colonies, because at that time every European country had certain colonies, so they lost some colonies. Military restrictions, so they had to reduce their army to only 1 lakh soldiers, no tanks, no submarine, no air force they had to maintain. Then war guilt clause, that they had to accept the responsibility of the war, World War One, and the losses. In reparation they had to give compensation amount. This was 6.6 billion pounds, which was a lot at that time. So all this affected Germany so badly. Germany's economy collapsed due to that. And due to this, hyperinflation started. Now, what is the meaning of hyperinflation? So, the value of mark, which was the currency of Germany at that time, it was reduced to a very low point that if anybody wanted to purchase a packet of bread, they had to carry one sack of their currency, and then they used to get one packet of bread. So you understand how much inflation was there. It means, like, inflation means when the money's value degraded. So it happened at that time. Unemployment and poverty increased. Then people resented the Weimar Republic, blaming them for the humiliation, and the Nazi party used this anger to gain support. Yes, was happening, and then Nazi party thought that we should uh, like take the step, or we should just go for bring the change in the society. So at that time only the Great Depression started, and then Hitler came into power. Let's see how. So in 1929, Great Depression hit Germany, and businesses collapsed, unemployment rose, and inflation skyrocketed. People lost faith in democracy and turned to extreme parties like Nazi. So, as I told you, in 1919, Weimar Republic accepted the Treaty of Versailles, and after that, they had to face a lot of backlash from the people of Germany. And between the time period of 20, no, like from 19 to 23, and they were very angry. The people of Germany were very angry, but later the things improved because America, through Davis plan, they wanted to help Germany. But because in 1928, when Great Depression hit USA, they also pulled back their support, and then again it affected Germany's economy. Then people restarted the backlash, or you can say their agitation to against the Weimar Republic. Okay, then Nazi party came into power. Now, who was Hitler? First, let's know about Hitler. So Hitler was a boy, or we can say he was born in Austria on 20th April 1889, and he wanted to become an artist, but his father was quite disciplined and he wanted him to become a good student. But somehow he died, his father died, and he joined Hitler joined in the age of 13. He joined the army, and when he joined, he fought from the German side in First World War, where he was about to killed, but somehow he was saved, and then he decided that he will take the revenge of this defeat and this quite a shameful condition where they had to face harsh conditions of Treaty of Versailles. So all this happened, and then he joined the German Workers Party. Later he changed it into Nazi party. Let's see how it worked after that. So in 1928, that Nazi party won 2.6% of votes. When in Germany election took place, they only won 2.6% of vote. Later in 1930, it increased to 18%, and then in July 1932, it became largest party by gaining 37.3% of votes. But still, they didn't get the majority of votes. Still, President Hindenburg, or you can say Vice Chancellor at that time, he invited Hitler to become the Chancellor, and then uh, Hitler became the Chancellor. But after that, there was a mysterious fire in Reichstag, the parliament of Germany there, and Hitler arrested communists and political opponents. And then he passed in March 1933. He passed one act, which was enabling act, through which he suspended all the power of parliament, and he became the supreme power. That means he established his dictatorial power in Germany. Then we talk about what type of ideology he used to follow. So he was having an ideology of expansion, right? So let's see what was his Nazi ideology. So Hitler and Nazis believed in extreme form of nationalism called ultra nationalism. Like you need to be only thinking about your nation. You should be extremely nationalist. So it was the party's belief. And then core belief of Nazism was Aryan superiority. They believed in that Germans master race is that Aryan race, who were actually blue eyed, blonde hair, fair face, so and physically fit. So this was the Aryan community, or you can say species, who were considered as the original Germans. And then anti-Semitism, like the hatred, they used to hate a lot uh, Jews, because Jews, they used to believe that Jews were the real killer of Jesus Christ. And also Jews used to lend money to poor people, and then they used to trap them in this cycle of loan. So this was one thing. And then anti-communism, suppression of left-wing ideology. They did not believe in communism, so they used to suppress such kind of ideology. They wanted to expand. So there was a concept of Lebensraum, which means living space. So he wanted to expand his territory by any way. Okay. Then how Nazi controlled the youth. So they had certain institution, you can say. So Jungwalk was for young folk people, who were actually the boys 10 to 14 years, were trained and disciplined, that they need to live a disciplined life. Then there was Hitler Jugend, you can say Hitler Youth. It was for the boys who were 14 to 18 years, and there they used to receive the military training. Then there was League of German Girls as well, where the girls were prepared for motherhood, that how they have to become good mother. Then we talk about the motherhood cult. In Nazi Germany, there was some specific role, or there was specific treatment of women. So let's see what was there. So women were seen as childbearers and homemakers in Nazi ideology. Means their only job was to take care of the children, to give birth to children, and take care of home. They were encouraged to have more children, with medals awarded. If they used to have more than 8 children, they used to get gold. More than 6 children, they used to get silver. And more than 4 children, they used to get bronze medal. And they were discouraged from working unless Nazi approved roles. So they were not having any kind of other work than the motherhood and this homemaking thing. Nazi persecution and Holocaust. So we see that Nazi party has an ideology where they didn't like certain people, like Jews. So for them, there was certain kind of system of like doing mass killing, and that mass killing was known as Holocaust. So Nuremberg law, there was a law which was known as Nuremberg law, and it was passed in 1935. According to this, Jews lost German citizenship and basic rights, and Jews were forced into ghettos. Ghettos were actually the separated places where these people used to live, who were disabled, who were Jews, or who were unwanted in the society according to the Nazi ideology. They were sent to those ghettos area, and they were sent to the concentration camps and extermination camps, where they used to put into the gas chambers. And then because of the flow of poisonous gases, people used to die in those gas chambers. So this was how things were going on. And the Holocaust resulted in the genocide of 6 million Jews and other minorities. So a lot of people died in this mass killing program of Nazi ideology or Nazi party. Holocaust, how do we get to know about Holocaust? Because it was quite hidden because Hitler and Nazi party used to control, used to censor the whole media, and they were using certain terms which were not at all showing their cruelty, you can say. So how we got to know about it? So there were certain things like official Nazi documents where there were execution records were maintained, transport lists were maintained, that how people were being transported to these ghettos areas, and how they were killed, how many were killed at a time. All these were got to disclosed through these documents, official Nazi documents. Then survivor testimonies. So there were certain people who succeeded to get away from there, escape from that place. So they had written certain diaries, from where certain diaries, certain journals, where they, from where we get to know about it. Then photographs and films, Nazi propaganda materials, and secret images, which later got found. And then remains of concentration camps, evidences from Auschwitz, which was actually the gas killing chamber, and then Treblinka, etc. And then allied reports and trials. So Nuremberg trials prosecuted Nazi leaders. Later, this Nuremberg law, that is actually the court, or you can say tribunal, where the judgments were passed. So there only Nazi leaders were also prosecuted. War criminals and Nuremberg trials. So who were war criminals? So if we talk about war criminals, so the Nazi party members who were actually doing a lot of uh, unfair things with people living in Germany, who were not the real so-called Germans. So, after World War II, the Allied powers put Nazi leaders on trial for crime against humanity. So, these leaders who were doing crimes against humanity, they were known as war criminals. So, Nuremberg trials, we see the 22 top leaders were prosecuted, and 12 were sentenced to death, then other to life imprisonment. The trials exposed the horrors of the Holocaust to the world. And then there is a timeline which you can see. Here the chapter ends, but there are so many things you should read from, because from the book, from the chapter, because it is just a summary where you get to know what this chapter is all about and what are the different events took place. That I have taken, and just in objective manner I tried to clear those topics. Here we can see the timeline. So timeline goes like: First World War 1914 to 1918, then 1919 Treaty of Versailles was signed, then 1923 Hitler's failed beer hall push, he's jailed here, and then 1929 Great Depression begins, boosting Nazi popularity. After this, Nazi party was he got popularity in Germany. 1933 Hitler becomes chancellor. Okay, Hitler becomes chancellor because his oratory skills were very good. So he used to manipulate people easily, you can say, influence people easily, and convince people easily that I would do something for you. And in the time period of Weimar Republic, when it was failing and nobody was there to take lead, this person took lead by giving certain promises that when he will be in power, he'll bring economic changes, which he did actually. He did expansion in some areas, and he also made a treaty with the Germany and Italy. So, sorry, Japan and Italy. So these are certain good things, and he also unified Austria with Germany. Okay, so these were certain things which he promised, and he did, and he believed in one person, one country, one nation, and one rule. Like this kind of mentality he had. So yes, then in 1935, uh, Nuremberg laws stripped Jews of rights. Then in 1939, Germany invades Poland, from where the World War II begins. And the 1941 Holocaust began, killing mass of Jews we can say mass population of Jews were killed during this period. And then 1945 Germany surrenders, and then Hitler commits suicide because he knew that he had done a lot of bad things. 1945 to 46 Nuremberg trials convict Nazi war criminals who actually did a lot of bad thing with the people living in Germany, not the real Germans according to them. With this, we can conclude this chapter and we quickly revise the chapter. I know there are certain concepts, certain facts which are not mentioned here in this video. The reason is I want you to read the book also. It is just we can say a revision video. Rise of Nazism and Hitler's dictatorship changed the world history forever. Germany, once a democracy, became a totalitarian state. The Holocaust remained a painful reminder of what unchecked power and hatred can lead to. Today, we study these events not just to remember history but to ensure that such horrors are never repeated.